Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Bucks Baseball Podcast. Today, we're talking about a special team to me, the St. Louis Cardinals. This is my team growing up since the 70s, late 70s, early 80s, 82 World Series Cardinals. As you know, I love the St. Louis Cardinals, but I also cover all MLB teams, Twitch, YouTube, and all that. So I usually don't like to do a lot of stuff about the St. Louis Cardinals because it makes me feel like I'm kind of being homerish. But for this, I definitely won't be. Today, we're going to be talking about what I would do if I was going to be reshaping the Cardinals with Chaim Bloom coming in. And are the Yankees and Cardinals headed towards a big-time trade here within the next week or two? Possibly. Let's talk about it on this episode of Bucks Baseball Podcast.
Hey, take me out to the ball game. Take me out with the crowd.
If it was me, if I was John Mozeliak, and I understand John's probably trying to go out, haven't heard from him many times. Doesn't want to go out as a loser. So while this is a retool, it's not a rebuild. Rebuild is completely different. I need fans to understand that rebuild, this roster would be completely gutted. Even, players like Helsley and everything like that would have been gone, which, you could argue Helsley should have been traded anyways, but this is a retool. It's basically working on the minor league system where they have been lacking the last few years. They have not developed players well at all. That's no secret. Everybody knows that. So that's where Chaim Bloom has been focusing all of his attention this year. Then he'll be taking over the team next year. So Mozeliak's been in charge of everything this winter. If I was in charge, Eric Fedde would have already been gone. Steven Matz would have already been gone. They do have trade value. They have one-year deals. They're very cheap one-year deals. So there's value there. And you can move those contracts. That's about, I believe that's almost $20 million between the two. I'd have to double check, but I'm pretty sure. And you could get, a small return back just by losing those contracts, something to put in your minor league system. And you could get some return for those. Same thing with Ryan Helsley. We have a lot of arms coming up through the system, and I feel like Ryan Helsley's value is pretty high right now. You could also wait to the All-Star break, but you're taking a chance there of injury with all these pitchers. So it's just not something I would have been comfortable doing if I was in charge. I would have moved all three of them. Now, as far as Arenado goes, he's got a short list of teams, so fans need to understand that it's not an easy job for Mozeliak to do. He had it done, and Arenado said he didn't want to go to the Astros. Now he's probably regretting that. The Astros are a decent team. They're in a good position still. He's probably regretting not going to the Astros with the way everything's shaken out, but maybe not. The Yankees the last few weeks have had a slew of injuries, and we're going to pull this up here just to look at Tyler Matzek's out, Stanton's out, Luis Gill's out, DJ LeMahieu's out, Clayton Beater's out, Jonathan Loaiza's out, Jake Cousins, Clark Schmidt, J.D. Brubaker, Scott Efros. The list goes on and on. Big news is Garrett Cole yesterday. He's going for evaluation today, so we'll have more news about him later today. But if they lose Garrett Cole for any amount of time, and then they've lost Luis Gil, that's their top two starters. Yes, they still have Marcus Stroman, who they threw on the back burner and said it was going to go into the bullpen. But now all of a sudden, they're probably going to need him. So they're in need of a starting pitcher. They could look at Matz. They could look at Fedde. Fedde's cheaper. Fedde's probably the better option. And I think Matz wants to stay here. Not that he has much of a say in it, but I think that Fedde would be the interesting arm for them. And then you're talking about Stanton being out for a little bit and DJ LeMahieu's out, and they're already really thin on the infield, and they don't have a great option at third base no matter what they say. So I feel like Arenado with one of those two pitchers makes a lot of sense for the Yankees. Now, I don't know what kind of return we get. It depends upon how much salary we're willing to eat. We'd have to eat at least half of Arenado's, probably none of Fedde's because it's not that large. So we could get something in return, maybe a couple of mid-tier type prospects. Basically, what we'd want to do is remove that money from the books, though, and free up that position to move Gorman to third, Donovan to second, and then our outfield starts to clear up a little bit. I know a lot of fans are in love with Michael Ciani, and I get it. He plays good defense. He hustles. He plays the game the Cardinal way. I understand that. But he's a fifth outfielder at best. You got to come to the realization, while he's a good player, he's a one-dimensional player. His bat is terrible. And I know you're going to say, oh, well, he had this hit, this average and this. No, his hits were terrible. They were luck hits. There is such a thing as lucky hits. And he is the beneficiary last year of a lot of that. Like, he does hustle, though, which is a good thing. And he is a good player to have on the roster as a fourth or fifth outfielder, defensive replacement. He is not an everyday center fielder. So if they can move Arenado, move Gorman to third, Donovan the second, and that frees up a spot in the outfield. You could then put Newt in left. Of course, Walker's going to be playing in right every day, just like Gorman's going to be playing every day. Got to get over that, Cardinal fans. Those two are going to be playing every day, barring injury, because you got to see what you have in him. You have to give him a chance to play every day. So center field then is open for Victor Scott, which would be ideal for St. Louis because he's having a great spring, and I'm not sure what else he could really do at AAA. I think he's ready, and I would love to see an outfield of Newt, Victor Scott, and Jordan Walker with Siani coming off the bench. But there's another player that really needs a look and could potentially steal some at-bats and probably should steal some at-bats. That player is Matt Koperniak. Now, he is a 27-year-old. He's been in the system for a little bit, but his bat is legitimate. If you look at last year's minor league stats, 2024, he had 20 homers, 309 average, 370 on base, 882 OPS. His career in the minor leagues, 834 OPS, and a 298 average. His bat plays. He needs to play. This is the year if you're going to give kids a chance to play. Now, I say kids, he's 27, so he's on the edge of that kid rating, but he has deserved a chance to play. And I would love to see him make this team and get some sort of everyday at bats somehow. Now, you can't really take at bats away from Burley because he's hitting as well. And again, the problem is Arenado. Arenado being on this roster just holds up a lot of these players that we really need to see what we have. Luken Baker is another one. If Luken Baker can't make this roster as a right-handed bat off the bench and sometimes first baseman, he's got to be traded. He's just sitting here. He's dying in this organization. He deserves to get every day at bats to see what he can do. Same with Koperniak. He deserves every day at bats to see what he can do. Again, if it was me, I would have moved Fetty and Matz by now. And still, Arenado, like I said, it was really hard to move. Sonny Gray didn't want to be moved. Wilson Contreras didn't want to be moved. I probably would have moved Helsley to open up another bullpen spot to give another one of these young kids a chance in the bullpen because we do have options. That's one place where the Cardinals are deep right now. They have tons of bullpen options, so much so that they might have to, release a couple of people who they brought in. First one of those to go would probably be Nick Anderson. They brought him in to see if he could rekindle some of that stuff that he had in Tampa Bay, and he's just looked awful this winter. I can't imagine a scenario where he makes the St. Louis Cardinals when you have other options down in the pen. Roycroft, Romero, Riley O'Brien, Munoz. Laudos has looked okay. Liberatore, if you don't now see, here's where I might differ from some other people. Matthew Liberatore, I believe, was drafted by Chaim Bloom as a starter. He saw something in him, and I still think there's something there for Matthew Liberatore. If it was me, like I said, I would have moved Fetty and Matz. You can't really move Michaelis. You do need someone there, and his salary is too high right now to just throw away, and you need innings. You need some guaranteed innings, and he gives you that, especially when you're going to go to some younger arms. But if it was me, I would have moved those two, so you'd have Michaelis at the top. Well, not at the top. He'd be in your 5. You have Sonny Gray at the top. And then that opens up. You have McGreevy, who's earned it. You have Palante, who's earned it. And then you could give Liberatore a shot there at that 5th spot for right now and see what happens. Worst case scenario, you put him back in the bullpen where you already know he's good. And you're not losing anything. But giving him one more chance to start, if this is what you're going to do, if you're going to call it a reset, that's what I would do. That would be the 5 that I would run out there after moving Fetty and Matz. If Libby doesn't work, you move him back to the pen. You're going to have Matthews that's going to be ready soon. You have other options like Cooper Jerpy, who is going to be really good. I know a lot of people have talked about moving him to the bullpen. I think that's hogwash. I think he can be a major league starter, especially with his delivery and his sneakiness with his pitches. I like him a lot. Whereas a guy like Gordon Graceffo, you can move him to the bullpen and feel comfortable about it because when Graceffo pitches, he always seems to wear down after a couple of innings. So I think Graceffo really could find a home there in the bullpen. Liberatore, I still believe, could be a starter, though, and I think he deserves another chance at that. You have Alex Burleson, a lefty who needs at-bats, who was a legitimate hitter, not a very good outfielder. He can DH, he can play. He's a really good first baseman. He's come a long way at first base. So you have 3 first basemen. That's a logjam. On the infield, you still have Arenado here. If you can't move him, you have Gorman, you have Donovan, you have Wynn, you have J.J. Weatherholt, who's not going to be in the minor leagues that long, and you have Sajaci, who is looking for a chance to play as well, among others. And then in the outfield, you're talking about Victor Scott, Newt, potentially Donovan, Walker, Siani, who again should be a 5th option, and Koperniak right off the rip. That's just, you have a lot of options, but you can't keep them all. So there's going to have to be some tough decisions soon. Do you try to move somebody with the amount of left-handed bats we have? Do you try to move somebody like Burleson, who needs a chance to play every day? I think the NL Central's weak. I think the Cardinals could win this division very easily. The Cubs have questions. The Reds have questions. The Brewers have questions. All these teams have issues, and it's not a very good division. So I still think the Cardinals could win this division. I think Oli Marmol is the right manager for that. The players love him. Chaim Bloom loves him. The front office loves him. He knows baseball. He knows his team, and he's a better manager than a lot of Cardinal fans give him credit for. And I think they have a chance to win this division still. If they don't play well and they're not in it at the All-Star break, they have a ton of assets to move. You could move Burley. You could, maybe Wilson Contreras changes his mind. Maybe Sonny Gray changes his mind. You have Helsley if he's healthy and having a good season. You have Arenado potentially still that could be moved. There's a lot of players that could be moved on this team if they are not playing well at the All-Star break, not to mention Fedde, Matz, who could potentially still be here. However, if that's the case, Chaim Bloom needs to be the one in charge of doing those moves and making those trades, evaluating the minor league systems of the teams that we're going to be trading with, because he knows talent. He knows how to build a farm. He did it in Boston. He did it in Tampa Bay. And he's going to do it here in St. Louis. I am so happy with this hire. Having spoken to him, he's a very smart baseball guy. He knows what it takes to build a farm system and to build a team. The Red Sox made a huge mistake getting rid of him. All right, so I threw a lot of info at you today. Potential trades, Yankees and Cardinals, talking about what I would have done if I was in charge of the Cardinals. Let me know if you're a Cardinal fan or Yankee fan. Give me some feedback in the comment section below. Let me know what you think. If you see this video anywhere on the internet, make sure to leave some comments. Let me know what you think. Even if you think I'm a big dumb duty head, just let me know in the comment section below. I appreciate it. If you're not subscribed to my YouTube, it's free. Hit the button. I upload almost every day here on YouTube, whether it's MLB content or MLB the Show content. MLB the Show comes out Friday. We're going to be having a lot of content going forward. I stream every day, but Sunday on Twitch, YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, Kick. You can find my stream on any of those places every day when I hit the go live button. This following Sunday, I will be streaming. Usually I don't, but since it's MLB the Show early release weekend, I'll be streaming every day this weekend, and I'm super excited. Steve Carlton's in the game. If you're a Cardinal fan, you know Steve Carlton, one who got away. Love that dude. I can't wait to use him in the game. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you have an awesome weekend. And until next time, you can catch me right here, same Buck time, same Buck channel.